This is Major League Baseball's virtual network. Hello and welcome. My name is Nicholas Callis, and today we have an American League Baseball game. The Toronto Blue Jays playing the red-hot Chicago White Sox. The Blue Jays are in fourth place in the AL East, and the White Sox in first place in the AL Central. We'll see how these two do coming up next. Here's Dylan Cease on the mound for the White Sox. He's been doing well this year, 2-1 record in 5 starts, has an earned run average of 3.19. He's been a quality starter for them, and him breaking out in the month of April helped the White Sox get to an early AL Central lead, and they have maintained that lead for most of the season. Here's the Blue Jays leadoff hitter, Teoscar Hernandez. This game getting underway at Guaranteed Rate Field. First pitch of the ball game's a breaking ball outside, counts 1-0. Like I just mentioned, the White Sox in first place in the AL Central, 32-13 is their record. They lead the next best team, the Twins, by 3 games entering this one. That pitch fouled off, counts even at 1. The White Sox have won 10 in a row heading into today, looking to make it 11 in a row. They have been red hot, and they have been leading the American League Central for the majority of the year. The Blue Jays coming into this one, they've lost 2 in a row. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. That's up high, counts 3-1. The White Sox won the first 2 games of this series. This is game 3 of a 4-game series these two are playing in. Game 4 is tomorrow. But the White Sox with an opportunity to win the series today. Leadoff walk issued by Dylan Cease to Teoscar Hernandez. And with that, Cavan Biggio comes to the plate. Biggio, not a strong month of May so far, just batting .201 with an on-base percentage of .333. First pitch is a strike. 97 miles per hour. Biggio, a 5th-round draft pick of the Blue Jays in 2016. He made his debut last season, 2019. This year, so far, he has 3 home runs and 12 RBIs to go along with that .201 average. 0-1 pitch. On the ground right side, played by Abreu. To Anderson for 1. Back to Abreu covering, double play. And with that, we'll take a look at the starting lineup for the Blue Jays. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has been doing well this season. He's one of the leaders. Actually, he is the RBI leader in the American League this season. As of right now, Travis Shaw was picked up in free agency. He's one of the new names on this team, batting 5th. Other than that, this team is pretty standard as to what it was last year. The Blue Jays had an enormous lead over the Red Sox because the Red Sox just got cold in April. They didn't start the season off strongly, but now the Red Sox are closer to the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays trying not to be in last place. The Blue Jays are 6.5 games back of the division coming into this game. The Red Sox are 7 games back, so the difference between these two teams is a half game. 1-1 pitch. That's outside. Counts 2-1. Two-one pitch coming from Dylan Cease. Swinging a pop-up. Shallow center field. Luis Roberts out there. And he's got it. That ends the top of the first. No runs on no hits, 1 walk in the inning, but that was erased on the double play, so nobody left on base. Moving to the bottom of the first inning, it's the Blue Jays 0 and the White Sox coming to bat. Hyunjin Ryu takes the mound for the Blue Jays. He's the starter of this game. 4-1 record in 9 starts so far this year, has an ERA at 3.41. He's one of the league leaders in innings pitched this year. He's got 60 and 2/3 innings tally. Here's Tim Anderson to lead off for the White Sox. Anderson really had a breakout year last year with the White Sox. And that's hit well to left field. And early fireworks for the White Sox. That ball is gone. Tim Anderson has 6 home runs this year. And the White Sox lead 1-0. I mean, it is typical for a leadoff hitter to see a couple pitches. But in that instance, Anderson found one that he liked. More like he loved because he hit it over the fence. 1-0 White Sox. Here's Yoan Moncada coming to the plate. A better road hitter by average, but produces more at home. Switch hitter batting from the right side. That's outside, counts 1-0. The Blue Jays 20 and 25, they're 4th in the AL East. They're a half game above the Red Sox. And they trail the Rays, who are in 3rd place, by 3 games. That hit well to left field. And that ball's going to fall. Hernandez plays it. He gets it in quickly, so Moncada stays at first base. Back-to-back hits for the White Sox open up the bottom of the first. Hernandez didn't get a good read on that ball. Would have been tough for him to track it anyway. But now here's Jose Abreu, one of the best hitters in the American League this year. And he takes a strike. Abreu is 5th in the American League in batting average with a .353 average. He's 2nd in total hits. He has 67. He's 1 behind Chris Davis for the league best. He's 4th. He's tied for 4th in doubles in the American League with 16. He and Jose Iglesias are. As he hits that pitch through the right side, that's a base hit. Jose Abreu has now tied Chris Davis for the league lead in hits with that one. And anyway, Abreu tied for 2nd best in the league in RBIs. So, I mean, he's a great hitter. And here's another good piece of this White Sox puzzle. It's Yasmani Grandal. He hasn't been around as long, though. He's just signed a contract this offseason. And he helps create a sturdy catcher position for them. He's a solid catcher, everyday starter, very talented, established player. Came up with the San Diego Padres, played for the Dodgers for a few years, and then played 1 year in Milwaukee. That was last year. Now he's with the White Sox. Shaw, Gurriel Jr. Back to Shaw, double play. Grandal's out at first, and with that, we got a problem. Yoan Moncada got out at 2nd base. And he will be removed from the game. That's not very good. He's one of the best producers for the White Sox, but he'll be taken out of the game. We'll see who plays 3rd base. It will be Danny Mendick. He will pinch run. Guess Moncada just came into 3rd base the wrong way. But out at 2nd was Abreu, and out at 1st, Grandal. So 2 outs. Now Mendick is on 3rd base. And here's the number 5 hitter, Edwin Encarnacion. Encarnacion, consistent designated hitter on this White Sox team. Helps give them a solid middle-of-the-order bat.
Nope. Ball 1.
With all the Yankees injuries last season, Encarnacion was acquired in a trade by the Yankees from the Mariners, and he established himself still. I mean, he's getting into his mid-30s now. He's still hitting home runs and being a feared middle-of-the-order bat. So far this year, he's been producing as well. His average is at .257, and he has 5 home runs and 16 RBIs. Line drive into right field, but caught on a leap by Cavan Biggio. That saved a run, and the inning is over. Go ahead and watch this one again. Take it in. White Sox get a run on Tim Anderson's solo home run. Going to the second inning, the White Sox lead it 1-0.
Ladies and gentlemen,
so there's Danny Mendick. He's coming in to play third base. Yohan Moncada went into third in an awkward manner, and he got injured. So we're not sure what's wrong with him yet, how serious it is, so don't panic too much at this point. He's just removed from this game at the moment, and that's all we can tell you. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to lead off for the Blue Jays. He takes ball one outside. He started his career out hot when he made his debut last season. Also made it to the Home Run Derby, then slowed up in the second half of the year, and that's transferred a bit over to this season. So he swings and fouls that pitch off. He has a .232 average, just 6 home runs. However, he is tied for third on the Blue Jays with 21 RBIs. Swinging a foul ball, counts 1-2. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., though, leads the Blue Jays by a significant margin. He has 46 runs batted in, and that's good for the American League lead. Line drive into center. Base hit for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Robert picks it up, and he gets it in quickly. That's a leadoff single for the Blue Jays. One on, nobody out. The White Sox got a run in the bottom of the first inning. Tim Anderson hit a solo home run. That's the first hit Dylan Cease has given up. Now here is Travis Shaw. Ground ball right side. Garcia to Anderson. Back to Abreu, but the throw pulled him off the base. Out at second is Guerrero Jr. And aboard at first is Travis Shaw. He reaches on what will be scored a fielder's choice. Close play at second, the out recorded. Just one out on the play for the White Sox. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. There's Randal Grichuk coming to the plate. Significantly better numbers against left-handed pitching. You see they're just batting .167 against righties. All 4 of his home runs on the year have been off left-handed pitching. First pitch from Dylan Cease. That's too high, ball 1. Grichuk scored 3 times over his last 4 games. The Blue Jays have lost their last 2 games, and both those games were to the White Sox. This is game 3 of a 4-game series between these two. Game 4 is tomorrow. But the White Sox won on Thursday and Friday, so the White Sox are in a position to win the series tonight. Ground ball sharply hit, but foul. Count is 2-1. Randal Grichuk, a former St. Louis Cardinal, has helped the Blue Jays outfield a bit. He's been a consistent hitter throughout his career. Not necessarily high numbers, but consistent enough to be an everyday starter. And his defensive skills are much appreciated as well. 3-ball, 1-strike pitch coming. Swung at a high pitch, popped it up toward left field. Eloy Jimenez makes the catch. Back to first base goes Shaw. There are now 2 outs in the top of the second. The Blue Jays got hit with an injury as well that hasn't really helped their team. Bo Bichette, who was supposed to start the year at shortstop, got hurt early in the season, and he's on the injured list now. He's expected to come back within the next month. But his bat in his defense have certainly been missed by this Blue Jays team. But it has given this man an opportunity to start more often. Billy McKinney at the plate. He's quickly down to the count, no balls and 2 strikes. McKinney, the designated hitter. Typically, Teoscar Hernandez would be the designated hitter, but he's playing in the outfield now. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who is supposed to play left field, has moved into shortstop, so Hernandez goes out to left, and that gives Billy McKinney a chance to be the designated hitter. And he's been consistently the DH against right-handed starters. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's too far in. Cease working quickly. Count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes, and now McKinney steps out. Derek Fisher would bat next. Travis Shaw expected to go, and he does. Down low, that's ball 4. A walk issued to Billy McKinney, and that's the second walk Dylan Cease has issued in the first 2 innings. And here comes Derek Fisher. Fisher, formerly a part of the Houston Astros. Now playing for the Blue Jays, starting in right field in tonight's game, and he hits that pitch well to right field. And that had the distance, but that's well foul. Counts 0-1. Oh, 1 pitch. Look out. Counts 1-1. Fisher this season, a .248 hitter. He has 4 home runs and 21 RBIs. Tied for 4th best on the Blue Jays. Or 3rd best, excuse me. 21 is good for 3rd best. He and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. tied. 1-2 pitch. Outside, counts 2-2. Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Second inning, 2 runners on base. And a line drive hit again to the right side, and that will reach the seats. Count remains even at 2, and deuces remain wild. Swing and a miss. Dylan Cease gets out of a small jam. And that ends the top of the second. No runs on a hit for the Blue Jays. 1 walk in the inning. 2 runners left on base. Going to the bottom of the second, the White Sox 1, the Blue Jays 0. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 6, 7, 8 hitters due up for the White Sox: Eloy Jimenez, Nomar Mazara, and Luis Robert. Jimenez was acquired in a trade with the Cubs. It was an inter-Chicago trade. The White Sox sent Jose Quintana over to the Cubs, and the Cubs gave some prospects to the White Sox. Jimenez was one of them.
I got the count 0-2.
And he's their everyday left fielder now. His defensive skills are a bit inconsistent, but his bat in the lineup has been important for the White Sox. That's too far in, counts 1-2.
Count is 1-2.
This season, Jimenez batting .258, 11 home runs, 34 RBIs. He has the second most RBIs on the White Sox behind Jose Abreu, who's at 42. 1-2 pitch. Got him on strikes right over the heart of the plate. Well placed by Hyun-Jin Ryu. First out of the bottom of the second. Now here's Nomar Mazara. The White Sox scored last inning. Tim Anderson had a home run on the first pitch he saw. That made it 1-0.
Ball 1.
Blue Jays got a couple runners on in the top of this inning, but failed to score. Nomar Mazara, former Texas Ranger. He signed with the White Sox this offseason, and he helped strengthen their outfield. They've got him in right. He's got a plus arm. His bat also is consistent as he fouls that pitch off. Counts 1-1. Luis Robert, one of the biggest prospects in baseball, is now playing center, and Eloy Jimenez is in left.
I got the count 1-2.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Hyun-Jin Ryu's pitch.
Nope.
Down low, counts even at 2. Speaking of free agent signings, too, Hyun-Jin Ryu, former Los Angeles Dodgers, signed with the Blue Jays this offseason. And he helps their rotation. He's been the ace of their rotation this season, and he's done well, too. Mazara flies out to Grichuk. Now there are 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning.
The center fielder, Louis.
And with that, Luis Robert comes to the plate. .245 average with 4 home runs and 10 RBIs. Luis Robert, in the offseason, signed a 7-year, $50 million extension with the White Sox. And he made history as the first player to sign an extension with a team that he has not played Major League Baseball with. He made his debut in 2020. When opening day came around, he made his Major League debut. But he signed his extension before that. So the White Sox have him locked up, and they have a lot of faith that he'll be an everyday player for them throughout the entire 7 years. The contract is good. 2-2 count, 2 outs, bottom of the second. Base is empty. Hyun-Jin Ryu got a strikeout of Jimenez and got Mazara to fly out to Grichuk in center and gets another strikeout. Ryu now with 2 strikeouts, and he keeps the White Sox scoreless in the second inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. However, the White Sox still lead it 1-0 going into the third. Well, there's Heidi Watney, and who knows what she could be saying right now. I'm sure it's important. Let's take a look at what chart we have here. This graphic shows the pitching stats of the White Sox in 2020. And, I mean, we talked about their pitching before. Dylan Cease is the starter, but they have the best ERA in baseball, the league best opponent average with just 236. Opponent average against pitchers
the catcher, number 10.
On the White Sox team. Pitching hasn't been a strong point for the White Sox in recent years. The White Sox have produced decent hitters, but pitching has suffered. And that is certain. But now you've got a rotation that's consistent. Of course, Dallas Keuchel got hurt a couple weeks ago, so he's been out. But Gio Gonzalez, Dylan Cease, Dane Dunning got called up, and he's been doing well. And then you've got the pitchers on the back end, Kelvin Herrera, Jace Fry, and then the closer, Alex Colome, doing well. Pitching shuts down hitters, and their offense has been strong for a couple of years. And it's a little surprised that the White Sox are doing well now this season. Of course, with all their signings in the offseason, Nomar Mazara, Edwin Encarnacion, Yasmani Grandal. Everything's coming together for them. Dylan Cease has now walked 3 batters. That's the second leadoff walk he's issued. Reese McGuire now on first base. Danny Jansen is getting the night off in this game. Here's Teoscar Hernandez. Hernandez, he walked in his first plate appearance. And he takes the ball. Counts 1-0. So Cease is struggling with walks now. Again, he's walked 3. He's kept the Blue Jays scoreless to this point. He's given up just 1 hit, though it's still early. That finds the zone. Counts even at 1. Cease throwing upwards of 100 miles an hour. Hasn't reached 100, but he's been throwing in the high 90s. 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. Swing and a miss. Got out in front of the breaking ball, did Hernandez. And the count's 1-2. Soft ground ball. Played by Anderson to Garcia for 1. Back to Abreu. That's a double play and a nifty one at that. Out at second's McGuire. And out at first is Hernandez. Now watch this again. This is a tougher play than it looks. Anderson has to go to his backhand, make an accurate throw off balance, and then Garcia's got to make the transition throw perfectly because Hernandez runs decently, and they got him by a step. Here's Kevin Biggio, 2 outs, base is empty now. Biggio 0 for 1 against Cease. Swing and a miss. Got him to chase the breaking ball, counts 0-1. Biggio has the most doubles on the Blue Jays. He has 10. No ball, 1 strike pitch.
Ball.
Almost chased it, but his bat didn't go around and no appeal, so the count's even at 1. Just outside, counts 2-1.
Nope. Outside.
Cease has been placing his pitches well so far. It's either been toward the middle of the zone or significantly outside.
Ball 4.
That's his 4th walk. And that gives the Blue Jays a 2-out base runner.
13, shortstop, Lourdes Gurriel.
And that'll bring up Lourdes Gurriel Jr., the American League leader in runs batted in. He has 46 RBIs. The next highest player on the Blue Jays has 22.
Nope. Count 1-0.
That's Teoscar Hernandez, the one with 22, but Gurriel Jr., 46 runs batted in. And he's on the leaderboard for home runs as well. Lined into center field, base hit for him. And now the Blue Jays have 2 on with 2 outs. Well, this is the same scenario as last inning. Cease pitched out of it, but he faces it again here in the 3rd. Sent it right back up the middle, didn't try to pull off of it. Stayed with it. Now here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's 2 for 4 in the whole series. 1 for 1 in tonight's game. Those 21 RBIs are tied for 3rd best among Blue Jay hitters. 1-0 pitch. That finds the zone, high inside corner. Counts even at 1. This is a run-producing spot for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That's outside, counts 2-1. Kevin Biggio there at second runs well. So a base hit could very well score him. Soft ground ball, counts even at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Top of the 3rd. White Sox leading by a run. Inside, counts full 3-2, and now this makes the play even more dangerous because both runners should be running on the pitch. Because there's a 3-2 count, and there are 2 outs. There they go. Too high, that's ball 4. And now the bases are loaded, and even a tougher situation here. Now 2 runners in scoring position, and just an extra 1 for fun added on first base. So Kevin Biggio walked with 2 outs. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hit a single, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just walked. Now here's Travis Shaw, a player that succeeds against right-handed pitching, and that's hit high into the air, but that'll be foul. Counts 0-1. Travis Shaw, product of the Boston Red Sox organization, played for the Brewers for a few years, and this is his first season with the Blue Jays. He signed in free agency. And the Blue Jays' former first baseman Justin Smoak signed a deal in the offseason with the Brewers, so it's almost as if they swapped their middle-of-the-order first base bats. But Shaw starts at first base against left-handed pitchers, and Brandon Drury starts at first base against left-handed starters. It's outside, counts 2-1. Cease in some trouble now. He's walked 5 in the entire game. Has walked 3 in this inning. 2-1 pitch. Hit well to the right side. And Travis Shaw is seeing the pitch as well. He's early on a 98-mile-per-hour fastball. 2-2 pitch. Outside, counts full 3-2. And the tension rises. All the runners expected to be going on this pitch. Big spot. Runners go. And fouled off, so another payoff pitch will be dealt. Strike 3 called, a well-placed pitch. Shaw didn't love the call, but Cease relieved. He got out of the third inning with the Blue Jays scoring no runs. The Blue Jays left the bases loaded going to the bottom of the third. It's the White Sox 1 and the Blue Jays 0. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis, and the bottom of the third. Coming up now, 9-1-2 hitters due up for the White Sox. Leury Garcia, Tim Anderson, and Danny Mendick all scheduled to bat. Fouled off, counts 1-1. Garcia, switch hitter, batting from the right side of the plate. Hyun-Jin Ryu to this point has given up just one run. It was a solo home run to leadoff hitter Tim Anderson in the bottom of the first. Ryu has pitched more efficiently than Dylan Cease has up to this point, though it's still early, but Cease stranded a couple runners in the second and stranded the bases loaded in the top of this inning. And he struggled with walks to this point. Cease has. Hyun-Jin Ryu has not had that problem. Counts full 3-2. Outside, ball 4. Leadoff walk for the White Sox on the bottom of the third.
The batter, number 7. Shortstop.
And that'll bring up leadoff hitter Tim Anderson. Anderson 1 for 1, solo home run he hit in the bottom of the first. Was the only run scored by either team to this point. And the crowd getting pumped up here at Guaranteed Rate Field. Mascot's always fun. Ryu's first pitch, runner goes. That's a strike. Thrown out to second by McGuire's not in time. Tag applied late by Cavan Biggio. Leury Garcia has a stolen base. He's in scoring position now with nobody out. Chopped foul. Counts quickly 0-2. Few breaking balls thrown now to Anderson. Anderson hit his home run on a fastball in the first. And Ryu just threw him 3 straight breaking balls. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Another breaking ball. He sends that to first base. Shaw trapped it. Throws to Ryu covering first. That's a ground out. But a productive out for Anderson as Garcia advances to third on the play. But Travis Shaw potentially saves a run here. Gets an out. And now there's still only one runner on base. So a spectacular play that has some implications added to it as well. Now here's Danny Mendick. Yohan Moncada running the bases in the first. Hurt his arm. So he's now out of the game, and Danny Mendick stays in. He stayed in. He pinch ran for Moncada and has played third base ever since the injury. But Moncada got a hit when he was up to the plate. This is Mendick's first plate appearance. He hasn't been in too many games this season. So he hits that pitch foul, counts 2-1. Mendick has 31 hits and 91 at bats. He has 6 home runs and 10 RBI, or 2 home runs and 10 RBIs. That's a base hit. And he gets a run batted in there. Scoring from third, Garcia, and the White Sox extend their lead. It's 2-0 now. Let me correct myself. Mendick is 13 for 71. has 2 home runs, and after that at bat, got his 11th RBI of the season. Now here's Jose Abreu. Runner goes from first. That's a strike. Throw down by McGuire. Tag applied by Cavan Biggio, and out at second base is Danny Mendick. I mean, not a great jump. Definitely a better throw there by McGuire. That ball couldn't really have been a better throw. And Mendick cut down. So Abreu will bat now with the bases empty and 2 outs. He's also down in the count. Inside, counts even at 1. Jose Abreu is at the top of several leaderboards in the American League. He's one of the best average hitters in baseball.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
One of the best run producers in baseball. He has several extra base hits. He's on the home run leaderboard. He's having a great year so far. Inside by just a bit. Counts even at 2. Hyun-Jin Ryu has now given up 2 earned runs. Close to ending the third here, and with this play being made, the third will be over. Reese McGuire makes the catch. And the third inning's over. The White Sox get a run on a couple hits and strand nobody. Going to the 4th inning, it's the White Sox 2 and the Blue Jays 0. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis.
Randall Griffith.
The White Sox leading 2-0. Coming into the 4th, 6, 7, 8 hitters due up for the Blue Jays. Randall Grichuk, Billy McKinney, and Derek Fisher.
Ball, acting tag.
The Blue Jays in the 2nd inning got runners on 2nd and 3rd against Cease, failed to score, and left the bases loaded in the 3rd inning. Cease has been struggling with location. He's walked 5 hitters so far in this game through his first 3 innings on the mound. And 3 of those walks were in that 3rd inning where the Blue Jays left the bases loaded. And Grichuk just beat the shift. That's going to roll to the wall in right field. Mazara picks it up and gets it in. Leadoff double for Randall Grichuk. That's his 11th of the season.
The designated hitter.
And he now leads
McKinney.
the Blue Jays team in doubles. There are only 2 players in double digits entering play, and Biggio now trailing by 1, who has 10. Here's Billy McKinney. He walked in his first plate appearance. Takes ball 1 outside. Cease throwing with high velocity, and he's been able to make some pitches to get him out of those jams. But the old adage, you can only play with fire so many times before you get burned. Counts even at 1. Billy McKinney, a product of the New York Yankees organization.
Count is 2 and 1.
Been playing for the Blue Jays for a few years now. He's been in and out of AAA. And he's gotten an opportunity to start this season. Already talked about the pieces that have been moved around because Bo Bichette got hurt. But McKinney gets to start at designated hitter against right-handed pitching. He's in a hitter's count. Well-placed pitch, counts full 3 and 2.
3 and 2.
Line drive into left field. Jimenez plays it on a hop and gets it in quickly. Stopping at third is Grichuk, and content with a single is Billy McKinney. He's on first.
Now batting, right fielder.
That's a great job staying on that pitch. Sometimes hitters have a tendency to try to pull off pitches, create more torque, and hit the pitch far and pull it. And McKinney didn't do that there. Evan Marshall now in the White Sox bullpen.
That's a ball. Count 1 and 0.
This is the 3rd straight inning. Cease has been in trouble. In those last 2 innings, though, he started getting himself in trouble with 2 outs. Now the Blue Jays have 2 runners on with nobody out.
2 and 0.
This is game 3 of a 4-game series. The White Sox won the first 2 games. The White Sox are also on a 10-game winning streak. The Blue Jays have lost 2 in a row, and that's the extent of their streak. They lost the first 2 games of this series. The White Sox are in position to win the series outright today. And the Blue Jays, at best, can tie the series. Moving on. 2-1 pitch. That's outside. Counts 3-1. Reese McGuire's on deck, and Cease continuing to struggle again. He falls behind in a count. That's foul. Count is full 3-2. The White Sox got a run in the first inning. Tim Anderson hit a home run. And in the bottom of the third inning, Danny Mendick got an RBI, made it 2-0. 3-2 pitch. Swing, soft line drive, left center field. That ball's going to fall. Randall Grichuk will score from third base. Heading into third is Billy McKinney, and aboard at second with an RBI double is Derek Fisher, his 9th double of the season. Again, Cease trying to hammer the outside part of the plate. And again, Blue Jays hitters doing well at staying on the pitch, hitting it, willing to hit it the opposite way, and it has now paid off for them. They've scored a run. Still nobody out. Number 9 hitter Reese McGuire up at the plate. He has no official at bat. He walked in his previous plate appearance, which was in the third inning. 2 runners in scoring position for him. The tying run at third, go-ahead run at second. Reese McGuire was traded to the Blue Jays for Drew Hutchinson. Was supposed to be developed into one of the Pirates' best arms, and he never made it out of AAA once he went to Pittsburgh. The Blue Jays had used Drew Hutchinson a few times in their rotation. He had promise, but didn't work out for him in Pittsburgh. McGuire, however, was one of the top catching prospects in the Pirates organization. And while he hasn't lived up to huge expectations or potential, he's gotten the opportunity to start here in Toronto. Full count pitch. Coming to Reese McGuire. Line drive and foul. Count still full 3-2. Guaranteed Rate Field, home of this game between the Blue Jays and the White Sox. Full count pitch again coming to McGuire. Wow, no appeal. That was close. He almost chased that pitch. No appeal. McGuire awarded first. Dylan Cease now has 6 walks. The bases are loaded now, nobody out. Now 2 arms warming up in the White Sox bullpen. Evan Marshall and Jace Fry. Cease in all kinds of trouble now. Bases loaded, nobody out, 1 run in, and the top of the order is coming up. Teoscar Hernandez 0 for 1. He walked in the first inning, and he grounded into a double play in his second plate appearance, which was also his first official at bat. Counts 1-0. Outside, hitters count for Hernandez 2-0. Billy McKinney's on third, Derek Fisher's on second, and Reese McGuire is on first base. The Blue Jays got a run in already. Derek Fisher hit an RBI double. And some more potential runs on base. Swing, fly ball, and foul. Cease losing velocity. He's coming up to 90 pitches now. His velocity early was 98, and that last pitch he threw was 95. That finds the top part of the zone. Another 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Counts even 2-2. Way too far outside. The tension rises. There's a full count The tying run's on third base. Bases are loaded and nobody out. He chased it. Hernandez is automatically out. Grandal blocked it anyway, so no runners advance. Cease now has 3 strikeouts. None crucial than that, and I guess this is a good time to show you how some of the minor league teams are doing. Some of the White Sox top prospects. And here comes the manager of the White Sox. That's going to do it for Dylan Cease. So he pitches 3 1/3 official innings. He's given up 1 earned run, but every runner on base is his responsibility. So his line score has not been concluded yet.
Number 43.
Evan Marshall coming in to pitch. He's expected to eat up some innings. He has 3 losing decisions on the year, 2 winning decisions in 15 games he's appeared in. His ERA is 5.40. And he's got a tough part of this Blue Jays order coming up. That just missed, counts 1-0. Cavan Biggio 0 for 1. He grounded into a double play his first at bat and walked in his most recent plate appearance in the 3rd. Too low. Hitters count for Biggio. Sharp ground ball past third base. Into left field. McKinney scores from third. Fisher scores from second. Jimenez bobbled the ball. McGuire stopped at third base into second with a 2-run double. Cavan Biggio, his 11th double of the season. At a crucial point in this game because the Blue Jays have taken the lead. It's 3-2. Thankfully for the White Sox, that bobble by Jimenez didn't turn into anything more. But now here's Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He's in a run-scoring spot here. He's the leader in RBIs in the American League with 46. And he has 2 runners in scoring position. 2 runners in scoring position. McGuire's on third. Biggio's on second. And he had his hitters count. It's 2-0 on him. Gurriel Jr. 408 with runners in scoring position, which directly correlates with how many RBIs he has. The 2-0 coming from Evan Marshall. Strike over the outside. Counts 2-1. So Dylan Cease is now up to 3 earned runs on his line score. Both those runners on... McGuire is the last runner that is Cease's responsibility. Biggio is Marshall's responsibility, so the book ends on McGuire and begins on Biggio. That missed the zone. Counts full 3-2. A close pitch on the outside edge is not called in Marshall's favor. Three balls, 2 strikes. That's the count on the Blue Jays shortstop. Swing and a miss. He chased it. Off-speed pitch got him out in front. There are now 2 outs in the 4th inning.
Now batting, third baseman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
The White Sox dodged a bullet there. With 2 outs, here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That's a base hit into right field. McGuire scores from third. Stopping at third base is Cavan Biggio. He advances from second to third. And that's an RBI single for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. It's now 4-2. The Blue Jays lead it. Another quality job there of the Blue Jays staying on pitches. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. didn't try to pull that. He stayed on it, hit it to the right side, nets himself an RBI, and extends the inning. So now the book is officially closed on Dylan Cease. All the runners that were on base when he started this inning came around to score. So 4 earned runs is his official line score. In 2 1/3 innings. 3 1/3 innings. 0-2 pitch coming from Evan Marshall. Inside, counts 1-2. Dylan Cease came into this fourth inning. He got an out, but then was replaced by Evan Marshall. But before he recorded the out, he loaded the bases. And all four of the runners that made it on base did come around to score. Too high, counts even at 2. So now Evan Marshall's line score begins. And that's pending any of these runners scoring that are on base now, and they do not. Travis Shaw strikes out, and that ends the top of the fourth inning. But the Toronto Blue Jays got 4 runs in that half inning, and they have taken the lead away from the White Sox. It's 4-2 going to the bottom of the fourth. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at VirtualMLB. You'll get news updates on what's going on around the league, as well as notifications on when games go live. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube. MLB Virtual Network is the channel. You can subscribe for notifications when we go live and when we upload videos such as highlights and updates regarding all 30 teams and how they performed on every given day, as well as where standings are and where league leaders stand. MLB Virtual Network on YouTube and at Virtual MLB on Twitter. The White Sox just lost the lead in the top of the fourth inning. They're sending up their middle-of-the-order hitters to begin the bottom of the fourth. Yasmani Grandal, Edwin Encarnacion, and Eloy Jimenez. Strike one thrown from Hyun-Jin Ryu, who is now pitching with the lead. He gave up a home run to Tim Anderson in the first inning, and then gave up an RBI base hit to Danny Mendick in the third. And then in the fourth, his team tied the game and more, and they took the lead. They ran starter Dylan Cease from the game, so now it's a bullpen game for the White Sox. And Ryu, at the moment, can relax a bit. 2-2 pitch. Out in front of it, foul ball. Count still even at 2. Chased it. Hyun-Jin Ryu has been throwing a healthy diet of breaking balls. And it's worked for the most part to this point. Got 3 strikeouts now. He has 3 strikeouts now, and with 1 out, here's Edwin Encarnacion. Yeah, it's a little too far in. Counts 1-0. Edwin Encarnacion has a possibility to make it to 2,000 hits before his career ends. He's at a bit over 1,800 now. 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Encarnacion was once a crucial piece of the power-heavy Blue Jays team of 2015 and 16. He was a part of that Blue Jays team that won the division in 2015 and made it to 2 American League Championship Series in 2015 and in 2016. Swinging a foul ball, count still even at 2. He's played for the Reds, the Blue Jays, the Indians, the Mariners, and now here in Chicago to play for the White Sox. He grounds out there. There's now 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Now back, left fielder, Eloy.
Here comes Eloy Jimenez now. 2 outs and the base is empty. He's 0 for 1. He struck out in the second. And he's 0 for 8 in the entire series. This is game 3 of a 4-game series. The first 2 games were played
Off the plate, ball 1.
on Thursday and Friday, and the White Sox won both of those games. And the White Sox got out to a 2-run lead going into the fourth inning, but then the Blue Jays struck for 4 in the top of the fourth, and they now lead it. Line drive caught at third base. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was there to make the play, and the fourth inning has concluded. No runs on no hits, no runners left on base for the White Sox. After 4 full innings of play, it's the Blue Jays 4 and the White Sox 2. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'll bet you any money Heidi Watney is going to come on the screen. And while we'd love to hear what she has to say, we can't. And we apologize for that, but that's just how the game mechanics work. Jace Fry will come into pitch for the White Sox. Dylan Cease pitched into the fourth inning. He loaded the bases, got one out, and then was replaced by Evan Marshall, who got the final 2 outs, but not before the Blue Jays scored 3 runs on him. All those runs were tallied to Dylan Cease's line score, but now here's Jace Fry coming in to pitch the 5th inning, or at least a portion of it. New Major League Baseball rules require a pitcher to throw to a minimum of 3 hitters before being subject to replacement. So if he can get 3 outs on 3 hitters, that'd be best case scenario. But he has to face 3 hitters.
I got to count 1 and 2.
Count 1 and 2 now. On Randall Grichuk, he's 1 for 2. He got a hit in his last at bat. Luis Robert there to make the play. That's 1 out in the 5th inning. So there's Dylan Cease's official line score. 3 1/3 innings pitched. Gave up 4 earned runs on 5 hits, walked 6 batters. And that was his big issue, was just some control issues, walking too many hitters. And it almost worked out for him. Through all the hitters he walked 1 in the first, 1 in the second. He walked 3 in the third. He escaped the bases loaded jam, but in the fourth, he walked another batter. A couple got hits off of him. The bases were loaded. And the Blue Jays found a way to score. 0-1 count on Billy McKinney. That finds his own, counts 0-2. But walks are the story of this one. That's what hurt Dylan Cease in this game. His pitch count was ran up, and that cost him and resulted in an early exit. Popped up on the infield. Jose Abreu runs to the middle of the infield. He makes the catch. And there are now 2 outs in the top of the 5th.
Now batting, the right fielder, Derek Fisher.
With 2 outs, Derek Fisher will come to the plate. Derek Fisher is 1 for 2. He hit a double and got a couple RBIs in his last at bat. He was one of the main contributors of the Blue Jays' 4-run 4th inning. Fisher, a former Houston Astro, was a part of their World Series championship team in 2017. Though there are mixed opinions on whether that World Series championship is valid anymore or not. But that's a whole other story. Swing and a miss. Jace Fry puts the Blue Jays down 1-2-3 in the top of the 5th. Going to the bottom of the 5th, it's the Blue Jays 4 and the White Sox 2. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. Be sure to check out our Twitter page as well, at Virtual MLB. And just in case you're watching on PlayStation Network, our YouTube channel is MLB Virtual Network. Check it out. Subscribe for notifications about when we go live and when we upload important videos that have to do with either highlights or with news on how every team performed on a given day. Nomar Mazara to lead off for the White Sox. He falls behind quickly, 0 balls and 2 strikes. Mazara, the former right fielder of the Texas Rangers, signed a deal in the offseason here with the White Sox, and he strengthens their outfield. He is a very good defender in right, and also has a consistent bat as well. Hyun-Jin Ryu, after pitching in the first 3 innings, has rebounded now. He's kept the White Sox scoreless in the 4th. Now pitching here in the 5th. 65 pitches. Swinging a foul ball, count still 2-2. But he's really settled down. He gave up an immediate run in the first. Tim Anderson hit a home run off Ryu on the first pitch he threw in this game. And then he gave up a run in the third inning on a Danny Mendick RBI base hit.
No, ball 4.
And Ryu issues a leadoff walk to Nomar Mazara. But we're still in the middle of this game. The potential tying run comes to the plate. It's Luis Robert. One of the biggest prospects in baseball. We already talked about the extension he signed with the White Sox that's historic. A 7-year, $50 million extension Robert signed in the offseason. It made history because that was the first extension signed by a player in Major League Baseball who did not play a game with the Major League club yet. White Sox have faith in the guy. Line drive caught by Shaw at first. Dive! The tag's in time! So Roberts out after lining out, and then Shaw was able to tag Mazara before he was able to get back to first base. 2 outs on one play there, and now the bases are empty. Leury Garcia is coming to bat. He walked in his first plate appearance and takes ball 1 on the first pitch of this one. Garcia has played for the White Sox his entire career. That's 7 years now he's been on the team. He's a very versatile player, can play mostly anywhere. Outfield, infield. He's also a switch hitter. Softly hit toward right center, played by Randal Grichuk, and the 5th inning has come to an end. The White Sox, no runs scored in that inning after 5 full innings of play. It's the White Sox trailing the Blue Jays. 4-2's the score. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 9-1-2 hitters due up for the Blue Jays. Reese McGuire, Teoscar Hernandez, and Kevin Biggio. Jace Fry pitched the entire 5th inning. Now he's here for the 6th. And induces a first pitch fly ball out of Reese McGuire. There's Eloy Jimenez. He makes the play. And there's one quick out here in the 6th.
Now batting, left fielder.
And that'll bring the top of the order back up for the Blue Jays. Teoscar Hernandez is coming to the plate. Jace Fry can be replaced now. He faced his 3 batters in the 5th. Also, there's 2 ways that he can be replaced now. You either face 3 batters in an inning, or you record the final out as a pitcher of an inning. Those are the new rules that Major League Baseball's put in place. Partially a pace of play initiative. But I also did some research on why that rule might have been implemented as well. And if you look back at the 2018 American League Championship Series, the National League Championship Series, the 2018 National League Championship Series, when the Brewers and Dodgers played each other, and the Dodgers said that Wade Miley was going to start, and he went out and he threw to one batter and then was taken out of the game. And I think Major League Baseball is trying to discourage teams from doing that. Taking away the possibility of a decoy starter being able to be used in games, because it takes up time for sure, but there are multiple opinions on whether that's a fair thing to do or not. But everybody's entitled to their opinion, but baseball's acted on it, given its opinion, and provided a rule change as it deemed necessary. Teoscar Hernandez strikes out. That's 2 outs now in the 6th inning.
The batter, number 8.
Jace Fry, 5 straight outs for him, and no runs scored yet from the Blue Jays. So now with 2 outs, base is empty. That'll bring up the number 2 hitter, Kevin Biggio. He's 1 for 2. He got 2 RBIs on a double he hit in his last at-bat. He also grounded into a double play in his first at-bat, but the second at-bat's the one more crucial. He hit in the go-ahead run for the Blue Jays. Now the Jays leading 4-2. They scored all 4 of their runs in the 4th inning. The White Sox got a run in the 1st and a run in the 3rd. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, counts 1-2.
2 strikes.
Ground ball left side, that's foul. He hit it against the shift. The White Sox are in position to anticipate him to pull the ball, but he hit it against the shift. If that had stayed fair, that had gone down the third base line and potentially the left field line. Got him to chase outside there. Jace Fry tallies another strikeout, and that ends the top of the sixth. No runs, no hits, nobody left on for the Blue Jays. Going to the bottom of the sixth inning, it's the Blue Jays 4 and the White Sox 2. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. The White Sox have their leadoff hitters scheduled to bat. Tim Anderson, Danny Mendick, scheduled to bat, as well as their number 3 hitter, Jose Abreu. Hyun-Jin Ryu on the mound for the 6th inning. Not a first pitch ground ball, but a ground ball in the at-bat. Tim Anderson's out. And there's one out in the bottom of the 6th. Hyun-Jin Ryu gave up a run in the first. Solo home run was hit by Tim Anderson. And in the 3rd inning, this man, Danny Mendick, hit an RBI single. That made it 2-0 at the time, but the Blue Jays scored 4 runs in the 4th inning. They've led ever since, and no team has scored since the 4th inning. Mendick came in to replace Yohan Moncada, who got hurt running the bases in the 1st inning. His status is still unknown. There's no need to panic on how severe it might be, because we don't know yet. Bunt attempt failed. Counts 1-2. But Mendick now playing third base for Moncada, as he hits that pitch foul, and better for his part because he got a run batted in his first at bat. 1-2 pitch. Too far outside with that breaking ball. Count is even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hyun-Jin Ryu in this game has not been afraid to use his breaking balls extensively, and for the most part it's worked in his favor. Well, that was a fastball type pitch that came over the plate. Strikeout number 4 for Ryu. There are now 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. And here's Jose Abreu. He's 1 for 2. He singled in the 1st inning. That was his only hit up to this point. Line drive toward left field, to the wall, it's gone! Second home run hit by the White Sox. Jose Abreu now with 13 home runs on the season. The White Sox pull within a run, it's 4-3. Well, Abreu notably hits better against lefties than righties, has more power against lefties than righties, and demonstrates it there. Just a line drive that extended over the boundaries of this field. Here's Yasmani Grandal. Counts 1-0, 2 outs, bases empty, a run in. Grandal 0 for 2. Jose Abreu is now tied for 8th best in the American League with his 13th home run of the season. And now leads the league in hits with 69. Toward right field. Ran down by Derek Fisher. Well played there. And that ends the 6th inning. Meanwhile, the White Sox get a run on Jose Abreu's solo home run. It's a 1-run game going to the 7th inning.
Ladies and gentlemen,
here's Jimmy Cordero coming into the game. 2-1 record in 23 games, has an ERA of 5.33. The White Sox had the best earned run average entering today's game. They also had the best opponent average. Hitters were hitting just .263 against White Sox pitching. But those statistics will go up after this game. The White Sox, as a team, have given up 4 runs to the Blue Jays. Aaron Bummer, Kelvin Herrera in the bullpen for the White Sox. 3, 4, 5 hitters stew up for the Blue Jays, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Travis Shaw.
2 balls, no strikes.
You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. And this one has been entertaining. The White Sox scored in the first inning. Tim Anderson hit a solo home run off Hyun-Jin Ryu. The Blue Jays got 2 runners on in the second, but failed to score them. Got the bases loaded with 2 outs, failed to score them. Then got the bases loaded in the fourth, and Dylan Cease couldn't escape trouble in that inning. He was charged with 4 earned runs. Those were all the Blue Jays runs that were scored in that fourth inning. And he didn't make it out of the fourth. And then the White Sox got their 3rd run in the bottom of the 6th. Jose Abreu hit a solo home run. So there's been quite a good mix of offense and quality pitching. Certainly more from the Blue Jays' better pitching perspective. Hyun-Jin Ryu has pitched a better game to this point than Cease did. But the White Sox not out of this game. Got him swinging. Jimmy Cordero, 100-mile-per-hour sinker. No way. No way. That is awesome. That is such a hard pitch to hit. You got a pitch coming in so quickly, and then it just takes a dip down toward the end. Jimmy Cordero bringing the heat on a pitch that's not a fastball. High fly ball toward left field. Eloy Jimenez running after it. He's running out of room. And he makes the catch against the wall.
Now batting.
Well, that was close.
Travis Shaw.
But just a long fly ball recorded as an out. And now there are 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. Now here's Travis Shaw. Shaw 0 for 3 out of the 5 spot for the Blue Jays. Facing another new pitcher, though, in this plate appearance. Takes ball 1 outside. Travis Shaw, former Boston Red Sox, also was an infielder with the Milwaukee Brewers for a few years. He can play first, second, and third base, but the Blue Jays, who lost Justin Smoak to free agency this offseason, decided to sign the power bat of Travis Shaw, and he is a platoon first baseman. He starts against right-handed pitching, and Brandon Drury starts at first base against left-handed pitching. 3 balls, no strikes. Right over the heart of the plate. Counts 3-1. Cordero bringing the velocity. He threw a sinker that was 100 miles per hour, and he's been hitting the high 90s consistently with that 4-seam fastball. 3-1 pitch. Inside, ball 4, 2-out walk issued to Travis Shaw, and the Blue Jays have a base runner.
The batter, the center fielder, Randall.
Here's Randall Grichuk. He doubled earlier in this game and later scored in that 4-run 4th inning the Blue Jays had. Facing Jimmy Cordero for the first time. So Dylan Cease pitched 3 1/3 innings, was taken out in the 4th. Evan Marshall got the final 2 outs of the 4th inning. Then Jace Fry came in, pitched the 5th and the 6th. Now Jimmy Cordero is here in the 7th. He got 2 quick outs and then let Travis Shaw on base via the walk. Now Randall Grichuk's in a hitter's count, 2 balls and no strikes. That's over the plate, counts 2-1.
2 balls, 1 strike.
That sinker is upwards of 100 miles per hour. That last sinker was 99. That pitch is nearly impossible. It's called a sinker because it dips down, as simple as that sounds. So you've got a pitch coming in with a velocity of nearly 100, and you're trying to adjust to the speed, and then it just takes a dive downward. That is so difficult to hit. Jordan Hicks, one of the relief pitchers with the Cardinals, is known for having a high-velocity sinker as well. So difficult to hit. There it is again, 99 miles per hour. Again, when you have a fastball that's just straight and a sinker that dives. It's tough. Very, very tough. There's 97 on the fastball, fouled away. Randall Grichuk extending this plate appearance. 2 ball, 2 strike count. 2 outs. Travis Shaw's on first base. Top of the 7th, the Blue Jays lead by 1. That's outside. The count's full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Travis Shaw expected to go from first base with the 3-2 count and 2 outs. There he goes. And that's too far outside. That's ball 4. Back-to-back walks with 2 outs by Jimmy Cordero.
Now batting.
And the Blue Jays have a scoring opportunity now.
McKinney.
They haven't scored since the 4th. The White Sox scored in the 1st, the 5th, or excuse me, the White Sox scored in the 1st, the 3rd, and the 6th. Now here's Billy McKinney. He's 1 for 2 in this game. And Guaranteed Rate Field is quieted down a bit. Strike 1. This place was jumping through the first 3 innings.
Ball, that's out.
And then the White Sox lost the lead in the 4th, and it's mellowed out here.
2-1.
If anything, too, the White Sox are due to lose. They're on a 10-game winning streak. That's not to say that they should lose, but they've amassed a large winning streak. They've won the first 2 games of this 4-game series. This is Game 3. Game 4 will be played tomorrow. But the White Sox have had so much success, and they're 3 games ahead for the division lead in the AL Central. Jimmy Cordero placed that sinker well, gets the strikeout of Billy McKinney, and the Blue Jays strand 2 as the top of the 7th ends. No runs on no hits for the Blue Jays. A couple walks in the inning, 2 runners left on base. Stretch time here at Guaranteed Rate Field. It's 4-3. The White Sox are trailing the Blue Jays.
Now pitching for the Blue Jays.
Hyun-Jin Ryu is out of the game. Justin Miller is in the game. He struggled this season out of the bullpen, has 3 losses on his record in 23 games appeared in. And his ERA is close to 8.
The designated hitter.
5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the White Sox. Edwin Encarnacion, Eloy Jimenez, and Nomar Mazara. Hyun-Jin Ryu pitches 6 full innings, gives up 3 earned runs. And at this point, he is in line for the win. But this game is not over yet. With a power-heavy offense that the White Sox have, a 1-run lead is not safe. Counts 2-0. Dylan Cease at the moment is lined up for the loss. But if the White Sox tie the game, he'll be off the hook. If the White Sox tie the game, neither starter will get a decision. Against the shift, played by Shaw, Justin Miller has to hustle, and he gets to the bag before Encarnacion does, and that's an out.
The batter, the left fielder, Eloy.
Now with 1 out, here's Eloy Jimenez. He's 0 for 2, struck out and lined out in this game. His average has fallen to .255. First pitch from Miller to Jimenez. It's outside, counts 1-0. High fly ball, left field. That's out of play. Counts even at 1. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. On the ground right side, Biggio plays it. Throws to Travis Shaw, and there are now 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th.
Now batting, right fielder.
The Blue Jays still have Ken Giles as their closer. Depending on how this game continues to go, he might make an appearance. Alex Colome for the White Sox has been a pretty hot closer himself. He's been nearly lights out in the back end of this bullpen. Saw Kelvin Herrera, too, has been warming up in the White Sox bullpen a little bit. Former setup man and closer of the Kansas City Royals, also pitched for the Washington Nationals.
Ball 2.
Both these teams have solid back ends of their bullpens. Ken Giles, an established relief pitcher,
Ball
as is Alex Colome and Kelvin Herrera. We'll see if the Blue Jays can lock this one down from a pitcher's standpoint. Again, the White Sox have bats, though, that produce runs. We'll see what happens. 3-ball, 1-strike count on Mazara, who swung at that 3-0 pitch. He's still ahead in the count. Too high, that's ball 4. 2-out walk issued from Justin Miller to Nomar Mazara. And the potential tying runs aboard. Here's Luis Robert. Robert is 0 for 2. He struck out and lined out in this one. Leury Garcia is on deck. Then the White Sox top of the order will come up. That pitch is outside, ball 1. Miller throwing 94. Line drive and foul was just ahead of that fastball, and the count evens out 1-1. That's a strike, counts 1-2. The sun continuing to go down here on the south side of Chicago. 1-2 pitch. Inside, counts even at 2. Swing and a miss. Despite issuing a walk, Justin Miller pitches a scoreless 7th inning. No runs on no hits for the White Sox. 1 walk in the inning and 1 runner left on base. After 7 full innings, the score, the Blue Jays 4 and the White Sox 3. Here comes Aaron Bummer out of the bullpen, a left-handed arm. And he'll face the 8-9-1 hitters in the Blue Jays order. And the first 2 hitters he'll face are lefties, Derek Fisher and Reese McGuire. And then Teoscar Hernandez, the righty, to bat 3rd this inning. Steve Cishek, Kelvin Herrera, 2 established veteran arms in the White Sox bullpen now. Jimmy Cordero pitches 1 official inning, and he didn't give up any runs. The White Sox bullpen just has a job of keeping this game, or keeping this deficit at a run. Give the team the best chance at coming back. And with the White Sox offense, the Blue Jays could use some insurance. None from Derek Fisher here, though. He strikes out to open up the inning. And this crowd, too, has been on and off with intensity. And it's really been swaying with the mood of this game. For the first 3 innings, it was loud in here. The crowd seemed to be backing up the team thoroughly, but in the 4th, when the Blue Jays got all 4 of their runs, the crowd just kind of sat back. Even though it's been a 2-run game and now it's a 1-run game, the crowd hasn't been too present. McGuire pops it up. That's in foul territory. Jimenez trying to run it down, and he does. And now there are 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning.
Now batting, left fielder, Teoscar Hernandez.
So here comes Teoscar Hernandez. 2 outs, base is empty, top of the 8th. His team up a run. On the ground and foul, counts 0-1. The White Sox got their first run in the 1st inning. Tim Anderson hit a home run off Hyun-Jin Ryu. The White Sox got their 2nd run in the 3rd. Danny Mendick hit an RBI single. Then in the 4th, the Blue Jays got 4 runs.
I got a ball, 1 strike.
The Blue Jays haven't scored in any other inning than the 4th. Then the White Sox got a run back in the 6th when Jose Abreu hit a solo home run. Now Teoscar Hernandez is bored with a 2-out hit. He's trying to extend it to extra bases, and he does. Mazara can't throw him out, and that's a 2-out double for Teoscar Hernandez. Well, when a team shifts you and you get jammed, there's nobody over there to capitalize on making a play. And that's the case there. Because of the shift, Hernandez is able to get a double out of that. And with 2 outs, here's Cavan Biggio.
Nope, that's down.
He's got a couple RBIs. He hit a double in that 4th inning. He was responsible for getting the go-ahead runs to score. Swing and a miss, counts 1-1. His average was in the 130s in his last at-bat, but because he got that hit with runners in scoring position, his average has jumped up into the 160s with runners in scoring position. He's facing Aaron Bummer for the first time in this game. 2-1 pitch coming. That's inside, count is 3-1. And the RBI man, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., is on deck. And aside from what you might believe, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. did not have any part in that 4th inning. He actually struck out.
Nope.
That's ball 4. 2 base runners on with 2 outs here for the Blue Jays. It's been the story of this game. The Blue Jays have had several 2-out rallies, but were only able to score in 1 inning of this game. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., his 46 RBIs lead the American League. Actually leads all of baseball now that I think about it. But he struck out with the bases loaded in the 4th inning. He wasn't a part of the runs that scored. Hit well towards center field. Robert seems to have a play on it, though, and he makes the catch. Top of the 8th inning is over. The Blue Jays get 2 runners on, no runs on a hit, 1 walk in the inning, but 2 runners left on base. They fail to score. Going to the bottom of the 8th inning, it's the Blue Jays 4 and the White Sox 3. Here's Anthony Bass coming in to pitch. He has no record. He's pitched in 8 games, though. Hasn't given up a run. Just 8 innings of work this season. 9-1-2 hitters due up for the White Sox. Leury Garcia and Tim Anderson and Danny Mendick. There's the closer, Ken Giles, on the left. Sam Gaviglio on the right. Anthony Bass hasn't pitched too much this season, so he's yet to give up a run. Garcia pops that one up. Reese McGuire is able to play it. And there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th.
The batter, number 7. Shortstop, Tim Anderson.
Let's take a look at where this pitch was. It was high. He got under it. Back to the top of the order for the White Sox now. Here's Tim Anderson. His only hit was in the 1st inning, and it was a solo home run. After the 1st, he's gone 0 for 2. Strike 1 call. This is game 3 of a 4-game series between these 2 teams. Game 4 is tomorrow. The White Sox won the first 2 games, and that's helped their 10-game winning streak, but the Blue Jays are in position to prevent that streak from extending any further. The White Sox also at the top of the American League Central. The Blue Jays are 4th in the American League East. Swing and a miss. And now there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Now batted, third baseman, Geddy.
It's a well-placed slider. Starts over the middle of the plate. Then kind of sinks down and moves a bit toward the outside. Bass got a swing and a miss there. Now with 2 outs, here's Mendick. Tries to bunt. Can't do it. Counts 0-1. Swing and a miss.
No ball, 2 strikes.
He tried to bunt. Now it looks like he's swinging at anything that will come to the plate. Counts quickly 0-2. Line drive right field. And that's Mendick's 2nd hit. Very well might be extra bases. Derek Fisher plays it. Gets it into the cutoff man, Biggio. Aboard at second with a 2-out double is Danny Mendick, and he represents the tying run for the White Sox.
Jose Abreu.
Looked like the infield for the Blue Jays was playing no doubles. But Mendick hit it past that arranged infield. Now here's Jose Abreu. He is 2 for 3. He hit a home run in the 6th. That tallied the White Sox' 3rd run. He also singled in the 1st. That's hit well to the left side and foul. The count is even at 1. Abreu, a .345 hitter with runners in scoring position. He's also second best in the American League with 43 runs batted in. He's now 3 RBIs behind Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who's on the Blue Jays. On the ground and foul. Counts 2-2. He's in a run-producing spot here. This is a crucial point in the game. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pass his pitch. Got him to swing and miss. And the White Sox turned away after getting a runner in scoring position. Well-placed breaking ball and Bass's emotion. He's now pitched 9 innings, yet to give up a run this season. Going to the 9th inning, it's 4-3. The Blue Jays lead the White Sox. And here's Steve Cishek. He's an established veteran. This is his first year with the White Sox. He was a part of a quality free agent, a quality free agency the White Sox had this offseason. And he helps add more experience and talent to the White Sox bullpen. Of course, his job now is to prevent the Blue Jays from scoring any further. And that would give the White Sox the best chance to attempt a comeback in the bottom of the 9th. But a tough part of the order for Cishek. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Travis Shaw, the first 2 hitters he's scheduled to face in this 9th inning. That's fouled off. Count still 0-2. Cishek in his career, he's pitched for the Marlins. Also pitched for the Cubs, the Mariners for a short period of time. Now here with the White Sox. Ground ball right side. Leury Garcia to Jose Abreu. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is out. And there's 1 out here in the 9th.
The first baseman, number 6, Travis Shaw.
That'll bring up Travis Shaw to the plate. Shaw hitless in 3 at bats. Though he's had 4 plate appearances in this game. And he walked once in 4 plate appearances. Facing Cishek for the first time tonight. And he takes ball 1 outside. Shaw's 1 for 6 against Cishek. Struck out 1 time. These two haven't faced each other very much because Cishek, for the majority of his career, has pitched in the National League. Shaw started as an American League player
1 ball, 1 strike.
and then played in the National League for a few years, now playing in the American League again. So these two likely to face each other more and more. As the season goes on. 1-1 pitch. Hit in the air, well to center field. Robert running back toward the wall. It's gone. Travis Shaw, solo home run here in the 9th inning. The Blue Jays extend their lead. It's 5-3. And that silences the crowd. Well, Shaw known for being a power threat. He takes a pitch that landed right over the middle of the plate and hits it out to dead center field.
Now batting.
5-3 Blue Jays. Here's Randal Grichuk. Hit in the air, but foul. Counts 0-1. Grichuk 1 for 3 in this game, 2 for 10 now in the series. This is game 3 of a 4-game series between these two teams. Game 4 is tomorrow. The White Sox won games 1 and 2. If the Blue Jays can win, they have an opportunity to tie the series tomorrow. And the Blue Jays are in position now to cut off the White Sox winning streak. It's at 10 as of today.
2 strikes, count.
One ball, 2-strike pitch to Randal Grichuk. That's too far outside. Counts even at 2. After this series with the Blue Jays, the White Sox will play a 2-game set with Colorado before moving into a divisional game, a 4-game series with the Twins next weekend. That's inside, counts full 3 and 2. The Blue Jays, after finishing this series, will play 3 games against Houston on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then we'll have a 4-game quote-unquote weekend series with the Orioles from Thursday to Sunday, and they'll be back in divisional play. Three balls, 2 strikes. Cishek's pitch to Grichuk. On the ground left side, foul. Count remains 3 and 2, and Grichuk grinding out this plate appearance. 3-2 coming again to the Blue Jays center fielder. On the ground right side, and the infield was shifted. So Grichuk just beat the shift. He's got a base hit.
Now batting.
That looked like it jammed him, too. That was an inside breaking ball. He just hits it into the ground toward the right side, but nobody was there on the right side. That'll bring up Billy McKinney. He's 1 for 3.
1-0.
He singled and later scored in the 4th inning. Blue Jays have a run in this top of the 9th inning. Travis Shaw hit a solo home run. 1-0 to McKinney. That's hit in the air to left. Eloy Jimenez running after it. Jimenez makes the catch. Grichuk will go back to first base, and there are now 2 outs in the top of the 9th.
Now batting. Right fielder. Derek Fisher.
Here comes Derek Fisher. Derek Fisher is 1 for 4. He doubled and got an RBI in the 4th inning. Seems like most of the Blue Jays hitters had something contagious going on with that with the run scoring in that 4th inning. So other than that, it's been very quiet. Other than Travis Shaw homering in this inning, they haven't scored since the 4th inning. Also, I just realized I probably shouldn't be using the word contagious during these times, so I apologize to any of you for that. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's too low, counts even at 1.
1-1.
One ball, 1 strike. Too low, counts 2-1. Randal Grichuk's on first base. He singled. 2 outs, top of the 9th. Steve Cishek is pitching in his first inning. He's given up a run. Now has 2 outs and has driven Fisher to a 2-2 count. Strike 3 right over the heart of the plate. Top of the 9th inning is over. But the Blue Jays tacked on an insurance run on this solo home run by Travis Shaw. Last chance for the White Sox, bottom of the 9th coming up. It's 5-3.
Your attention, please.
Here comes Ken Giles.
For the Blue Jays.
Has 7 saves out of 8 total opportunities. His ERA is .461. He's pitched in 13 games. He's one of the better closers in baseball, an established name. Broke out in 2014 with the Phillies. Was the closer for the World Series champion Astros in 2017. And was traded to Toronto. The Blue Jays sent Roberto Osuna to the Astros, and the Astros sent Ken Giles to the Blue Jays. So it was a swapping of closers, so Giles picked up the closing spot. And he's been doing rather well since coming here. I mean, the ERA is a bit high, but for the most part, he's done well. 0-2 pitch to Yasmani Grandal. He chased it. Oh, one batter in. He has a strikeout.
The designated hitter, Edwin.
White Sox with 2 outs to work with. And the number 5 hitter for the White Sox coming to the plate. It's Edwin Encarnacion. First pitch is outside, counts 1-0. I mean, Encarnacion played for the Blue Jays once upon a time, but the team that's on the field now for the Blue Jays is very different from when Encarnacion was there. Josh Donaldson was the third baseman. Troy Tulowitzki was the shortstop for a short period of time. Jose Bautista was the right fielder. His Blue Jays team has changed significantly in the last 5 years. Swing and a miss, counts 1-2. Encarnacion was one of the first to go of that core Blue Jays team of 2015 and 16. So many things expected and unexpected happened to the team where it just kind of fell apart and entered a rebuilding stage. Encarnacion signed with the Indians in the 2016-17 free agency. Troy Tulowitzki struggled with injuries. Russell Martin aged. Reese McGuire over to Travis Shaw. There are now 2 outs after Encarnacion strikes out. 1 out to work with for the White Sox. Here's Eloy Jimenez. But, I mean, that Blue Jays team of 2015 and 2016, I mean, was just 1 or 2 games away in the playoffs from potentially being able to win it all.
Ball 1, no strike.
And it's almost a shame because the Blue Jays haven't won a World Series since 1993. Counts even at 1 on Eloy Jimenez. That misses, counts 2-1. But yeah, all those names that were once recognizable, no longer the case. I mean, even David Price was part of the Blue Jays rotation, and they traded for him in 2015.
Ball 3.
3 balls and 1 strike is the count. Nomar Mazara is on deck. Nomar Mazara at this point in the on-deck circle represents the potential tying run. But Eloy Jimenez would have to hit on base. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. In the air, center field. Running after it, Randall Grichuk. He makes the catch. And that's the ball game. The White Sox 10-game winning streak is snapped after losing today to the Blue Jays. Here's Hyunjin Ryu. He earns the win in this game. And the Blue Jays take a game of this 4-game series. Game 4 is tomorrow. The Blue Jays with an opportunity to be able to tie the series after tomorrow. The White Sox can still win the series, but the White Sox will not sweep the series. So the Blue Jays improve to 21-25. They move now 6 games back of the American League leading Yankees. That's subject to change after all the other games are played. And the White Sox fall to 32-14. They're 2.5 games above the Twins for first place in the AL Central. Hyunjin Ryu got the win. He pitched 6 innings, gave up 3 earned runs on 5 hits. Struck out 4, walked just 2. Dylan Cease got the loss. He pitched 3 1/3 innings. And while Evan Marshall let those runs score when he came out of the bullpen, Dylan Cease was responsible for letting them on base. So Dylan Cease is charged with all 4 earned runs that scored in the 4th inning. He walked 6 batters. Wasn't quite on point today with his location. Worked a high pitch count, and that earned him an early shower. Ken Giles pitched an inning. Didn't strike anybody, or struck out 2 batters. Got a fly out as well. Didn't give up any runs, and very simply earns the save. Quick scoring summary for you. The White Sox scored in the 1st inning. Tim Anderson hit a home run off the first pitch Hyun-Jin Ryu threw in this game. That made it 1-0. Danny Mendick got an RBI single in the 3rd. That put the White Sox up 2-0. But then the Blue Jays got 4 runs in the top of the 4th inning. Dylan Cease worked the bases loaded, got an out, but then was replaced after getting that out. Evan Marshall gave up the runs, but Cease still responsible for giving up those runs. But the Blue Jays scored 4 runs, took the lead. They didn't relinquish the lead after that. But the White Sox still scored a run in the bottom of the 6th. Jose Abreu hit a solo home run. And then the Blue Jays tacked on an insurance run in the top of the 9th when Travis Shaw hit a solo home run. And that was the final score, 5-3. The Blue Jays, 5 runs on 10 hits. The White Sox, 3 runs on 6 hits. You've been watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis, saying so long from Guaranteed Rate Field. Stay tuned later on, either later tonight or early tomorrow. You'll see the schedule for all the games that will be played throughout next week. Stick around for that. That schedule will be made and will be coming out soon, either late tonight or early tomorrow. Once again, the final score of this game, the Blue Jays 5 and the White Sox 3.